You will speak to me when you are ready for work, yes? Your target is Radolf, a Valiant captain and seeker of lost ruins. There is no wicked length he would not go to plunder the dignity of these isles. My confidence swells to hear of this, Captain. Radolf commands the galleon Goldbell and seeks for ruins east of Nekataka, on the southwestern tip of the Kua-Orokuhu island chain.
I'm sorry, but this area is strictly off-limits. Private property of the Royal Deadfire Company, that's what. Sorry, my orders come from the Hazanui herself. All it would take is one stray flame, one errant spark. No, I'm sorry, but you really don't understand.
I always forget that part. Say, you're the Watcher of Cadnua, aren't you? I've never met anyone famous before. Except the Hazanui. She yells at me sometimes. Oh, all the time. Where's my white leaf? Stop daydreaming. So, Bormy, if you lose the ledgers again, I'll have you clean the latrines. All this time, I didn't realize she knew my name. It's just, this is my first time away from the rough country. I'd heard there were thick, green forests and sandy beaches without a storm in sight, but I never imagined this. You must have traveled lots, seen all sorts of amazing places. Now, that sounds like an adventure. I love Rauatai, but it's hard to go a week without seeing storms, or hearing about mudslides burying a village somewhere. I really wish I could, but my supplies are for the Royal Deadfire Company and our allies. Hazanui's orders. Maybe if you impress her or Atsura, they could make an exception.
I got this. I got this. Consider it done.
Give me a real challenge.
The former Lord of Cadnua,
and one-time terrifier of harbor masters. If Dockside tales are to be believed. You have not brought much good news of late. So, in addition to pirates, profiteers, and slavers, the Deadfire has a vengeful god roaming its waters? If your report is true, he's stumping port towns into craters. I don't much care why he's doing it. He must be stopped. Anything can be stopped with sufficient force. The problem is finding the will to deploy it. The Valians won't lift a finger if it isn't to snatch a coin, and the Huana will barely do that much.
Success in trade has been quite elusive for the Rauataians, but the bitterness suits you well.
No one takes charge to solve the big problems. But perhaps we could work together to our mutual benefit. Look around. Deadfire's full of fertile, temperate islands. Except for Andra's mortar. It's largely free of rough weather. Yet much of it is uninhabited. Itinerant tribes drift between some of the islands, and smugglers and slavers cluster around the rest. It's a waste. Imagine what this place could be, with well-guarded shipping routes. How many Rauataians we could feed with plantations here. That's a naive view. One our enemies are keen to promote. Rauatai's violent storms have shaped and hardened us as much as but it remains a difficult place to live. So, we rely on trade and on plantations we've established. And those developments also create a more stable, productive Deadfire. The Valian Trading Company wants to leech every last coin they can from the Deadfire, no matter the eventual cost. They're little more than... The Principi are actual thieves, no matter their pretensions of nobility. And the Juana are happy to let them all pick away at their fractured empire. We're interested in building something here. You've got a good head on your shoulders. Deadfire needs more of that. If you're chasing the god who's stomping this place into the ground, then we have a common goal. And if you're going to survive here, then you could use an ally. The disaster at Hasongo remains a key concern. We rely on the port there to ship food back to Rauatai. That's on hold until you investigate. Short of that, there are other matters that demand attention. Atsura, our Grand Secretary, has a plan that would make use of your unusual talents. His office is downstairs. He can tell you more. Hazatoa. Atsura and I usually have a game running, and this one's been going on for over a month and a half. Atsura's good at misdirection, but I've got a mind for the long game. You look like you've come with a purpose. It happened a year into my first command. We were chasing pirates along Rauatai's south coast, and they landed a shot right next to our magazine. A lucky hit. I ran below. The fire was already spreading and making for our powder stores. I smothered what I could with my uniform, pulled the rest away with my own hands. We don't get to choose our challenges, do we? Just the way we meet them. There's a cost to every victory, and the win goes to those willing to make a sacrifice. I'll bet you already know a thing or two about that. And if you don't, Deadfire will teach you soon enough.
Good to see you again. I really wish maybe if you...
Verses by the kitchen.
They weren't that bad.
Rhyming Hazanui with kablooey?
I can't think of anything else that goes with Hazanui.
Me neither. That's why I leave epics to the lore college. Watcher Nui, the Lord of Cadnua. I'm not one for ostentation, but your remarkable display at Queen's birth suggests that you are an individual with skills, not mere style. Few with abilities like yours would be so humble about them. I am Atsura, Grand Secretary of the Royal Deadfire Company. And why not? Thousands of years ago, our people came from the archipelago. By one reckoning, we have as much claim on these islands as the Huana. But our purpose here is trade. While our homeland is rich in saltpeter, the violent climate and rocky soils make it a poor source for most other basic staples. It's my business to look after the mainland's interests here. And it's a pleasure to meet someone of your elegant manners. I wish I had been there to see your grand entrance at the palace, but I avoid Serpent's Crown as much as possible. It is a place of entirely too much talk, and I find that the more talk one hears, the less it means. Such is the world we live in. Were it different, all the locksmiths and masons in Eora would be out of work. And here our neighbors include a nation of pirates and a fractured people led by a figurehead. To say nothing of the Valians. Leave it to them to observe a substance that occurs nowhere else on Eora, and immediately set about pulverizing it for profit.
And leave it to a Rawatayan to ignore the dozens of other uses Valian animancers have discovered for Luminous Adra just in the last few years.
I do not think in years, Aimika. I think in centuries. Yet the Valians toy with Luminous Adra like a child who has discovered her mother's pistol. Nothing. We know too little about Luminous Adra to understand the consequences of ripping it out. Perhaps you can help me keep them from doing more harm. It's not about what the Valians are doing to us, but rather to all of the Deadfire. The demand for Luminous Adra has sent the Valian Trading Company into a frenzy. Their expeditions grow too bold, and their officers too greedy. Worse, their rapid expansion attracts pirates and threatens the outlying Huana tribes. This risks souring the Kahanga royals against all foreign involvement. But you can curtail their growth. By snapping up land we need to grow food and build ships for our people? Indeed. But our interests and Deadfire's are not mutually exclusive. The Valians have sent an expedition to Pococahara, a storm-wrecked island believed to house a vein of Luminous. I hear you accomplished an incredible feat in restoring the Luminous Adra near Port Maje. If your abilities allow you to do that, then perhaps you are also capable of the opposite. Find the Luminous Adra at Pococahara. Render it unusable to the... This should encourage them to develop the resources they have, rather than reaching for more. deeply. But if a small sacrifice here will discourage the Valians from further ventures, then it is a worthwhile risk. For all their faults, they don't lack imagination. I'm confident they know of our intentions. Because governors like Clario are a rare breed. Most of the Valian administrators care little for the well-being of the Huana. If the Valians claim Poco Kahara, it is the locals who will truly suffer. Deadfire is a tumultuous place. Consider the value of an ally with ships, cannons, and the backing of a great empire. I do not have the precise location of Poco Kahara, but the tribe on the nearby island of Tikawara could probably help. I suggest starting there. Now, what else can I do for you? How do you mean that? Are you making advances at me? It's for the best. This would be a most inconvenient time to begin an attachment. It's a trading post, of course. Anything worth building is worth protecting. It's a trading. Rauatai is rich in saltpeter, copper, and a few. The Valians have become aggressive competitors. We learned the value of defending our goods and ship. Clear skies.
Criticism is easier than creation.
Isn't this something? Consider it done. Give me a real challenge.
You return. What say, friend? Akira, you've restored to us a piece of our history. The Queen thanks you, my friend. We are a step closer to...
Hey, you the Watcher? Good. If I delivered message to wrong person, Master would curse me with Archimere's annoying song that never gets out of your head. Archimere, the great master, has returned. Invites you to join him at the estate. Says you know where that is. Oh no! Master doesn't tell us imps anything. Eh? But whoever has time, you have to make time. Find Master in his study. Don't be late.
Well, that was faster than I anticipated. I had hoped for more time to work with the Queen on her formal apology, but I will have to accelerate our plan. Thank you again, truly. This may be our most meaningful step towards Ukaizo. We just have to pray that Archimere doesn't put hexes on his belongings.
On the bright side, if he wanted to kill us, he probably wouldn't have bothered with the imp.
You must gather.
I trust you had no trouble finding the place? Nekitaka is either a testament to the ancient Huana's love of labyrinths, or their hatred of straight lines. Sadly, I did not invite you here for a discussion of city. I warn you to stay your hand and treat with me better than you did poor Consolate. But let us get to the business of the hour, shall we? My estate was recently burgled. My vault breached. One. At the Circle's behest, I'm expected to show restraint in these dealings. If you imagine that imp blood is easy to remove from carpet, I invite you to clean up after yourself. I am less pleased about the Harappo epic resting in the hands of those who lost it once before. Did I ask a question? The Circle of Archmagi wishes for us to put this unpleasantness in the past with a gesture of good faith. The Circle has expressed concerns about a certain mobile deity. The Deadfire is a fragile place, and a blundering soul drain like Aethys can damage more than just castle keeps. Indeed. It isn't our desire that you apprehend the deity. That simply isn't practical. We need your help in preparing for the worst possible outcome.
Normally, the Circle's involvement constitutes the worst possible outcome. Or have you already forgotten the Blackwash Falls incident?
Kalakoth replaced the water. What more do you desire? An apology? We do not worry. We measure, and the resulting value dictates action. You are only involved because it is advantageous for knowledge of the Circle's involvement to remain discreet. The wizard Bikana installed an observatory due northeast of Nekataka. For your absolution, the Circle asks that you locate her research. She vanished from academic research, and therefore her livelihood. All signs point to her lab being abandoned. Fair warning. A vessel flying the sigil of the Torn Bannerman set a course for the observatory. I have every reason to believe they travel armed. Did I inquire after your personal history? My interest begins and ends at a single point. That someone of great means desires abandoned arcane research. research which we disregarded. Come back alive. Or not at all. Now, if you don't mind, I have a manor to restore. And a household staff to replenish. If you require directions to Bacana's observatory, look to your sextant. Why, indeed. The Circle is invested in the region, and someone must oversee it all at once. I drew the short straw for this unfortunate decade. I'm a member of the Circle of Archmagi, for better, and yet I had to open a Their antics amuse me, and I have no patience for the shortcomings of supposedly intelligent. Next question. More. Speak on, then. I trust you had no trouble fighting. Neketaka is either a testament to the ancient Huana's love of labyrinths, or their hatred of straight lines. Try not to get too comfortable. I warn you to stay your hand, and treat with me better than you did poor Consolot. But let us... My estate was recently burgled. My vault breached. How very pleasing to hear an honest admission. At the Circle's behest, I'm expected to show restraint in these dealings. If you imagine... I am less pleased about the Harappo epic resting in the hands of those who lost it once before. Did I ask a question? The Circle of Archmagi wishes for us to put this unpleasantness in the past with a gesture of good faith. The Circle has expressed... The Deadfire is a fragile place, and a blundering soul drain like Aethys. Indeed, it isn't our... We need your... Normally, the... Kalakoth replaced the water. What more do you desire? An apology? The wizard Bacana installed an observatory due northeast of Neketaka. For your absolution, the Circle asks that the Circle's concerns are utterly unfounded, of course. No doubt you'll recognize the appropriate documents. You have an eye for valuables. Were the spoils of my estate too meager? Absolutely not. Fair warning, a vessel flying the sigil of... I have every reason to believe they travel armed. Come back alive. And they have...
Ventre, a moment. I saw you speak to my dear amico Degnos, so I thought to myself, why, Telfor, you must meet him too. Ah, Bazzo!
Now it's done.
Your orders?
That's not very helpful.
I'll teach you a lesson.
Yeah, that's it.
Show 'em how it's done.
See that, Ishi?
Did Kana ever get to meet Ishi?
Briefly. It didn't go well.
Really? And Kana always seemed agreeable to me.
Oh, you weren't there for the White Flood. Ishi can purge his whole intestine at once if he's feeling ornery. Kana never wore that hat again.
My intelligence speaks of agitated whispers in the Valera household. Have on, then, and don't leave me in suspense. Treachery from within. This is exactly what I needed. Now we know enough to sidestep this particular trap. Here, your deserving pay. I suggest we allow this heist to play out as intended. We will watch as our enemies walk into a trap. This will be the end of the Valera's short, ignoble reign in high society. It most decidedly is. I have no use for a faint heart. Find me when you come to your senses. Speak up. My business never sits still for long. Fratello doesn't make my affairs any easy. Oh dear. You think I'd put myself practicality? I have little objection to discussing the matter. I simply doubt Otello will listen.
Ishi, quiet time.
Supposed to play nanny? They listen to you, Martino. Enough. We have a guest.
Ado,
I hear you witnessed an unfortunate exchange behind the Adra Mill. You kept Laro and Orso from the Beyond. We could use such a mediator. Martino has need of muscle and brains outside of the Valera house.
Let me take point on this one, Father. Some Royal Deadfire crews have lately taken to pirate hunting. One such crew has been boasting of their victories near the Wild Mare, singing their Rauatai songs and making our clients anxious. Perhaps you've heard a few.
If songs make you people anxious, I can't wait for our next battle.
Hunting Principe dogs is our business. With all these problems with the Bardatos, now is not the time for competition from the Brass Citadel. It would be better if they took their business elsewhere.
Very subtle, Martino. I see now why your family is doing so well.
Was that not implied? Mikosi, consider it done. Come back when the Rauatai dogs have been dispatched, dismissed, or dismembered.
Adu, what brings you to the whole